What's poppin', y'all? This is DJ with One Shot Game. Man, you already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices. The ability to settle in the life that has been faithfully set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. I see y'all, and even the ones in the back, I see y'all too. So look, the title of this video is going to be on the fact of some wise words I heard in my life. Is the fact that every action has a reaction. Every action you take in life has a reaction. And you might not be able to see it at first because a lot of people don't understand pattern recognition. They only, you know what I'm saying, listen to or see what's in front of them at the time. So you got to think about it like this, like the universe, God, Allah, whatever you believe in, has made it to where it was hard for a lot of people to understand pattern recognition because he wanted us to believe that the way we were operating was good for a time being. You know what I'm saying? But now it's very understanding how strong pattern recognition is, that hopefully over time, if not right now, people can start to see that every action has a reaction. If you deep down inside know that you're about to do something that is not morally correct or right, I promise you that action has a reaction. You know what I'm saying? And you may not see it right away, but sometimes it's meant to be like that. So when it does catch your eye, it'll be something that you least expect. So then it'll wake you up to be like, listen, I gotta be able to understand that this pattern recognition is serious. And I took it into account in my life basically by, you know what I'm saying, understanding the patterns of behavior of things that I was doing to run away from things that I really needed to look at. I started to operate in that same pattern that I've been doing all my life. And the consequences for operating that way were so strong that at some point I was like, look, I gotta change the pattern up. You know what I'm saying? You're making your reactions to certain things predictable because of the simple fact I know you're gonna act like this every time I throw something in your face. You're never gonna be able to find the solution on how to get over it because you're reacting to it the same way you've been reacting to it your whole life. I'm telling you, pattern recognition is something that people, if they're not paying attention to, they should, you know, because your life and how it is in your reality is based off of your actions, you know, and you can either pay attention to the reactions or you cannot pay attention to the reactions and keep doing the actions as if they're okay. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm telling you right now, I don't play no games with that. And that's when I kind of took into consideration that the universe, God, Allah, whoever y'all believe to be true is really real. Because that's the only person I fear. For the simple fact, you know what I'm saying, he'll have something blow up in your life so big that you won't be able to understand simply because you couldn't understand your pattern recognition. You know what I'm saying? Which is oftentimes we get comfortable in reacting a certain way to certain things all the time. You know what I'm saying? To the point that we don't know it's affecting our life because we have made it be acceptable because we got comfortable with doing it. You know, but when the world comes to a point where it's time to shift, that pattern recognition is going to be so noticeable because the reaction to that action is going to change and it's going to get more bigger. And it's going to hopefully direct you in a way where you start to see that this pattern is not going to fit for the reality that you're in right now. If you want to grow, you have to change your pattern up. You got to do something different. If you want something, you know, different, you want different results. Like, it's real life. You know what I'm saying? And listen, when too many unpredictable bad things started to happen in my life, I knew that I had to change up my pattern. I had to do things differently. I had to walk away from the things I got so comfortable with and try something different, even if it was scary. You know what I'm saying? Even if it didn't fit the image of what I thought life to be, I had to just do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, I'm going to make it to where the reaction to your action is so extensive that you won't be able to come back from it. And that's scary. for me. You feel me? Because when the universe, God, Allah is in control of that, you don't know what it could be, you know? And you just a human living in this world, so you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm pretty sure oftentimes people understand their patterns, but they don't think anything is wrong with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to understand pattern recognition when you think that your patterns are okay, until the universe starts to slap you dead in the face in your pattern with something that happens bad every time to try to wake you up so you can see where you need to change your pattern at. That's hard to recognize if you're too comfortable in your ways, you know? So again, anything bad in your life that you want to change, you have to be able to look at your patterns, because that is the most important thing in life. I truly believe, because everyone has a pattern. Everybody gets so comfortable in doing the same thing consistently every day that they're blind to what they really need to work on. Like for me, you know what I'm saying, when I was working, I had a job, I was so comfortable and set in my ways with finally having everything that I want. I was doing everything systematically programmed every day that I was missing the in-betweens. I was not having enough time to sit down and focus on what I'm not focusing on, which is causing the reaction to your actions. You know what I'm saying? I had to really sit down and look at that. And once I did, I grew. And I react different now to that certain situation. And it gives me different results. Maybe not, you know, so quick and so fast, but over time you start to see them. But that's hard for other people to see when they don't even understand that their pattern recognition may be their own demise to their reality, because their pattern is so comfortable that they don't want to change it. You know, listen, and it happens. It get like that sometimes. I done been in the pattern before. I was so used to doing something consistently like that for so long, I didn't want to change it up until that one day something really bad happened, and I was like, listen, you don't got no choice. You're pushed into a direction that you didn't ever want to go in, because I gave you a consequence that was so, you know what I'm saying, detrimental to your existence, that you didn't have no choice. I think people tend to underestimate how that is God working in your life. That is God helping you see where you need to change. And sometimes people are just so used to bad things happening that they don't think they need to change their pattern to change up the result of the bad thing happening. They'll just think, okay, I'm going to still keep doing what I'm doing. I'm used to bad things happening. Oh, well. No. You feel me? That's God trying to get your attention. Wake up. This is where you need to work on. You need to do something different in this area, because your pattern is becoming recognized. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for people. I get it. I've been there. But I think now is the time that we start waking up and we start adjusting, you know, areas in our life where we can grow and become better. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Listen, ain't nobody doing nothing to you in your life. You're doing it all to yourself. Everything that happens to you in your life is because of a choice you've made, and your pattern was picked up and recognized. And for this new world, God is like, listen, I'm going to destroy all your patterns. Everything you think you've been doing for so long that's not morally correct for you, I'm going to shut it down. And you're going to be made to have to look at it in a different way. That's not to blame nobody. That's to blame yourself, so you can look at it. You know what I'm saying? Every single action has a reaction. And once I started to take that into consideration, I started to be very mindful of my actions. You know what I'm saying? I make sure I think and step correctly what applies to me. Not what applies to somebody else, you know what I'm saying? But what applies to my higher version of myself and God and the way that He wants me to move. I listen carefully because I don't want to misstep and be guided and fall off a cliff. You feel me? There are people depending on me. You know what I'm saying? So listen, be mindful that every single action in the world has a reaction for you. And you can choose to ignore it, or you can pay attention and alter it and fix it. That takes a lot of sitting down with yourself to recognize your pattern recognition so you can fix it. That's not up to nobody but yourself. You feel me? But again, it's a different way some people look at life. Some people look at life in a battle or fight for power. I got to do this to be better than you, instead of looking at life like, you know what I'm saying? The only person I'm fighting is the person I was yesterday. Which means I got to be able to look at myself and to look at my own pattern recognition and the things that are not fitting for me and change them. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? But that's so hard for people because people have it in their mind that they're doing everything right and it's fitting for them. No matter how many times bad things happen, they're so used to bad things that they just act like that is not a reaction to an action that they took. They act like that's normal. Now just step over it and keep doing what we've been doing. No, that's God trying to wake you up and give you a warning. So listen, I can only give the world empowerment and advice on how to grow. You feel me? And that is to just basically realize that every action has a reaction. Pattern recognition on what you do in your life is very important if you want different outcomes. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention and focus. And you can change your life by being able to pay attention to yourself. Not pay attention to somebody else and what they got going on, because you feel as if, you feel me, your life is just this perfect thing where you don't do no wrong and nothing has to be fixed. Everybody has things they had to work on. We all human. Unless you understand and correctly did the work, you know what I'm saying? Don't go for nobody else. Go for yourself. Because again, I'm so serious when I say this. Every single action has a reaction, whether you like it or not. And it's depending on your pattern recognition. So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.